What was it like coming into a franchise that was already established? We had the prior two films, and kind of knew much about like the world of A Quiet Place, but at the same time, there was so much unexplored, and like we don't even know like what happened when things even began. So what was it like for you to being able to come into this film, which kind of had an established lore, but at the same time, so much more to build out as well?
Well, I think when you're entering something like this, you're very aware of the devotion that the fan base have for this franchise. And coming into it, I think there was a little bit of, personally speaking, a little bit of trepidation, a little bit of nerves, but also a lot of excitement. I was a big fan of the previous two installments. I watched the first one in the cinema and remember being riveted and very moved by it, because the central characters within the film are so human. You watch the Abbott family negotiate this new terrifying reality, and I thought the prospect of this third installment being helmed by Michael Sarnowski, who did a brilliant film called Pig 2 years prior, and the idea that he would be able to take over this franchise and add something different to it, and another flavour, another kind of spice, if you were. So I was really excited by the prospect of it. So I guess a short answer is nerves and excitement. Could have just said that.
Yeah, it is always unnerving to come later, right? To come after. I think it was brilliant how John set it up. He did the first two films, and when I spoke to him about this one, he said, I only want to continue this franchise, continue exploring this universe if we can do something new and different with it. And so the first thing he did is give Michael Sarnowski the baton, and in his hands, he's going to bring his flavor, his ideas to the table, and then you have new characters. So I was encouraged by the fact that those two things would signal a different direction we were going to an audience. And because this universe has so much space and fans have so many questions, it's kind of brilliant, because now there is another way for them to learn about the universe through these new characters in this new city with these new stakes.
Yes, yes. And lastly, how would you describe the dynamic between Sam and Eric and how it kind of changes throughout the film? Because I think initially, at least on paper, they seem like they could be polar opposites, but as time goes on, they find they have more in common. I personally, walking in New York City, if I see someone behind me, I'm usually like, okay, someone's following me. But like, you see how that plays out differently in this film. So how would you explain this dynamic and how it changes?
How would we explain it? I suppose, hopefully, it's unpredictable. I think that's what we really wanted to bring to this film, this idea that there are these two perfect strangers with a very different set of circumstances and a very different set of ideals in relating to their own mortality, I suppose, and relating to this cataclysmic is a good word. A cataclysmic apocalypse that's occurring in front of them. And so the idea that these two people would collide and then eventually kind of unify and try and tackle this obstacle together was a very kind of strange prospect, and something that was very interesting to try and lead a film in that respect, for that dynamic to be the beating heart amongst a very large-scale film was a very interesting prospect. How would I explain it? Like that, cataclysmically.